Have you ever wondered if there's a single meal? Yes, just one powerful meal that can actively help clear your arteries, reduce your risk of heart disease, and support your overall cardiovascular health? It might sound too good to be true, especially given the flood of conflicting advice out there. But today, I'm going to walk you through the surprising science behind what you really need to eat to protect your arteries, and why much of the standard, heart-healthy advice might be leading you astray. If you're ready to discover a meal that supports your heart from the inside out, keep watching, because this knowledge could transform the way you approach nutrition forever. To begin, let's take a moment to understand the very heart of the matter literally. The artery wall isn't just a static tube carrying blood. Its innermost lining, called the endothelial layer, is an incredibly dynamic tissue that plays a crucial role in regulating blood pressure, preventing clots, filtering waste, especially in the kidneys, and even modulating immune responses. The endothelial cells serve as gatekeepers, managing the delicate balance between dilation and constriction of blood vessels. When these cells malfunction, it's the starting point for a cascade of problems, from hypertension, high blood pressure, to the buildup of plaque that leads to heart attacks and strokes. Now, here's a fascinating fact that many don't realize. The primary fuel for these endothelial cells is glucose, sugar, your body either consumes or produces internally. This means the endothelial layer relies heavily on insulin to deliver this glucose effectively. When insulin signaling breaks down a condition called insulin resistance, the arteries begin to suffer. Insulin resistance is now alarmingly common, especially in Western countries. What causes it? A chronic, excessive intake of carbohydrates and frequent snacking leads to persistently high insulin levels. Over time, this dulls your body's response to insulin, meaning glucose delivery to critical tissues, including your arterial lining, becomes impaired. This creates a dangerous cycle. Insufficient fuel for your endothelial cells reduces their function, making your arteries stiffer and more prone to damage. It's no coincidence that insulin resistance is closely linked with cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. So the key question is, how do we protect the endothelial layer from insulin resistance? The answer lies partly in managing your carbohydrate intake and improving insulin sensitivity through diet and lifestyle. Another superstar player in artery health is nitric oxide, NO. A gas produced naturally by your body that relaxes blood vessels, prevents stiffness, and keeps blood flowing smoothly. Nitric oxide is essentially the body's natural vasodilator, crucial for maintaining healthy blood pressure. Here's the catch. Nitric oxide production is supported by a variety of nutrients and hormones, including vitamin D. Not just for bone health, vitamin D stimulates nitric oxide production and supports endothelial function. That's why low vitamin D levels often coincide with hypertension. L-arginine, an amino acid commonly taken as a supplement. L-arginine serves as a precursor for nitric oxide synthesis. Testosterone. Surprisingly, testosterone also boosts nitric oxide levels, supporting artery flexibility. However, environmental toxins like plastics can suppress testosterone, adding another layer to cardiovascular risk. Magnesium. This essential mineral relaxes muscles, reduces stress hormones like cortisol, and crucially, helps prevent calcium buildup inside arteries, a primary factor in arterial stiffening. Vitamin K2. Often overlooked, vitamin K2 helps direct calcium away from your arteries and into bones, preventing dangerous calcification. Together, these nutrients form a natural defense system that supports artery health by enhancing nitric oxide production and preventing calcium deposits. Why mainstream heart-healthy advice might be failing you? Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you follow mainstream heart health guidelines, you'll see recommendations for eating lots of whole grains, seed oils, rich in unsaturated fats, and avoiding saturated fats and red meat. But here's the paradox. Many of these heart-healthy certified foods still raise insulin levels. For example, products like Cheerios are often labeled American Heart Association certified, yet they contain significant amounts of refined grains and sugars. This can worsen insulin resistance and damage arterial health. Seed oils, widely promoted for heart health, are prone to oxidation and their excessive consumption may promote inflammation, a root cause of arterial damage. Furthermore, the vilification of red meat is based largely on its saturated fat and cholesterol content. But consider this: a teaspoon of coconut oil actually contains more cholesterol than 7 ounces of steak, yet coconut oil isn't similarly condemned. This contradiction signals that much of the dietary advice around heart disease is oversimplified or even misguided. The result? Despite decades of mainstream guidance, heart disease rates continue to climb, suggesting we need a fresh perspective rooted in modern science. So what should you eat to truly support your arteries and heart health? Based on the role of insulin, nitric oxide, and key nutrients, the optimal dietary approach is low-carb or ketogenic, meaning you minimize carbohydrate intake to reduce insulin spikes and provide alternative fuel sources like ketones that support endothelial cells without causing insulin resistance. Contrary to popular belief, grass-fed red meat can be a powerful ally for your heart. Here's why. Red meat supplies bioavailable zinc, which boosts testosterone and nitric oxide, helping your arteries stay relaxed and flexible. It provides the raw materials, amino acids, necessary for repairing muscle tissue, including the heart, which is, after all, a muscle. Grass-fed sources contain better fatty acid profiles, including conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, which may support metabolic health. A perfect example would be a grass-fed hamburger patty, ideally topped with raw cheese. Why raw cheese? It is richer in vitamin K2, which, as mentioned, prevents calcium buildup inside arteries. Next to your red meat, a fresh, leafy green salad is essential, but not just any salad. I recommend arugula as a star ingredient because it's packed with nitrates that the body converts into nitric oxide, enhancing blood vessel dilation. Arugula also contains vitamins C and E, both antioxidants that protect the arterial lining from oxidative stress. Adding a handful of pumpkin seeds elevates the meal further. Pumpkin seeds are rich in magnesium, zinc, and selenium minerals that support nitric oxide production and overall cardiovascular health. Don't forget vitamin D, the sun, and supplementation. Vitamin D is another pillar of arterial health. It's nearly impossible to get sufficient vitamin D through food alone. Unless you consume traditional diets rich in seal fat or other animal fats common in Arctic populations, instead, regular sun exposure is your best natural source. However, during winter months, or if you spend most of your time indoors, supplementation with vitamin D3 becomes necessary. For cardiovascular benefits, studies suggest a maintenance dose of at least 10,000 IU daily to support nitric oxide production, blood pressure regulation, and endothelial health. While the above meal is a powerhouse for artery health, remember it's not just about a single meal, it's about consistent dietary and lifestyle habits. Keep your carbohydrates low to maintain insulin sensitivity. Prioritize nutrient-dense, bioavailable foods like grass-fed meats, raw dairy, leafy greens, and seeds. Supplement or safely get plenty of sunlight for vitamin D. Manage stress and ensure sufficient magnesium intake to lower cortisol and prevent calcium buildup. Avoid processed seed oils and refined grains that promote inflammation and insulin resistance. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide. Despite decades of dietary guidelines emphasizing low-fat, high-carb diets, cardiovascular health statistics have worsened. The #1 best meal to support artery health isn't a trendy smoothie or a complex superfood bowl. It's a simple combination of nutrient-rich, low-carb foods that fuel the arteries correctly, reduce inflammation, and prevent calcification. By shifting our focus to insulin management, nitric oxide support, and nutrient sufficiency, we align with what the body truly needs to maintain artery health. It's time to reconsider outdated advice and embrace this scientifically supported approach to nutrition and heart health. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and comment so I can continue to update more useful videos for you.